And I think we're live now.
Yeah, we are. Okay, let's start the event then. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us your time on a Saturday evening for those in India to learn more about the art and joy of cooking. Before I go on to introduce our esteemed guests, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our audience ranging from culinary arts enthusiasts, students, and professors from every single state in India. Being able to reach such a diverse group of listeners is the goal of our startup, Forethought India. Here at Forethought, we organize specially curated courses and insightful webinars, like the one you're attending right now, conducted by people who are pioneers in their field. We believe knowledge should be free and accessible for all, and the only prerequisite one must have is the will to learn more. I would urge you to keep an eye out on our webpage and Instagram handle to know more about the future events we have planned. Now, without further delay, I would be honored to introduce the esteemed speakers we have amongst us today. We have with us Karine Chef Coco Linton and Joe Garcia today. We also had initial plans to have Chef Nishar with us, but he couldn't be here due to serious medical issues. All of us here at Forethought pray for his speedy recovery. Our first speaker for tonight is Karine Chef Coco Linton, founder and CEO of A Dash of Cocoa LLC. A fresh approach to the culinary world, the company strives to bring together the worlds of food and fashion. Recently named in the top 100 leaders in education by the Global Forum for Education and Learning, to be held in Las Vegas September 2020, Chef Coco leaves no stone unturned to be an active influence on those around her. Truly an inspirational woman, she is also the first woman sworn in as the second VP of ACF, that is Atlanta Chefs Association, and also received their Humanitarian of the Year 2015 award. Today, we are honored to have Chef Coco share her insights with us on the culinary arts. Ma'am, I would urge you to begin now.
Hello, and I'll say good morning from Tampa, Florida, USA. Isn't it a fantastic platform that we're on where we can reach everyone around the world at different times, right? So that's one of the things I want to talk about with the fact that I'm also an educator at Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. So let me take you on a little journey. Can you see it okay?
I can, yes.
Okay. All right. So, a dash of cocoa, a lifestyle of food and fashion. You may say, why fashion? Well, I was also a fashion designer and stylist in the entertainment industry several years back. Designed and dressed celebrities such as LL Cool J, music producer extraordinaire Teddy Riley, the group Guy, Blackstreet, Rex and Effect, just to name a few. And I also was the assistant designer for Play from Kid and Play. So this is why I'm bringing my two worlds together, because here we are talking about food, but food also is very fashionable and it's still an art, just like fashion. So in our world, there's a term and it's pronounced Meson Plots. When I found out exactly what Meson Plots meant, it took on a whole nother level for me coming into the industry to cook. So it's basically, like you all know, because you're studying it, it means everything in its place. But guess what? That doesn't just pertain to food. It's also about your life, all right? So here we have preparation. That's key in our industry because it's a time factor, and we want to make sure that everything is cooking on time, the heat is right, and most of all, serving it to the guests on time and it's still hot. All right. So then organization, it teaches us how to organize our ingredients, how to portion them and so forth. But again, we can use that same philosophy within our life. And then time management. Because those of you who worked in kitchens, we all know it's very important to be on time, not just to the job, but also within the kitchen itself. Because the front of the house and we're the back of the house, we work simultaneously, and this keeps a good flow. So from flow, let's talk about balance. The Meson Plots also allows you to balance your measurements. Visually, you see everything laid out, and it preps you for the balance within the process of the cooking. All right, and then we can go into it's time to flow. So here you have some edible flowers. All right, and by the way, Farmer Joe is a farmer that collaborated with Escoffier School of Culinary Arts, and they all grow some of the most beautiful herbs and just other food items, right? So again, I'm going to talk in a minute about the importance of where the industry is going. Okay, so I still add a little bit of my fashion, a little pizzazz. This here is just like jewelry. It's an accessory, but it draws you right in. And then every chef, every cook should know their ingredients. You should make it a habit of understanding your ingredients. So you want to learn each ingredient, not just for the name. You want to know its content, because at some point you want to maneuver and elevate it, right? So go on out and visit your local farmers, your vendors, even your local butcher, right? Know the location where the food is being grown or even raised. This is good because we want to, as chef, provide the best quality of ingredients to all of our guests and our families. So you would also select the freshest ingredients, fresh foods, right? Whether it's a simple salad with a toss of some greens and some blueberries and so forth, a little bit of cheese and some radishes, the colors pop and they entice you to come in and taste. So then learn the contents. One of my favorite vegetables has become the onion. As a kid, I think I bit into an onion and I never liked the texture of it. But as a chef, I learned that onion is a jewel. It's a beautiful jewel. And yes, it has many layers, but each of those layers are just like us, right? And you have to unpeel it to discover that there's sugar within there. And that sugar, you can manipulate it in such a good way to give you several ranges of caramelization. So now I appreciate the onion. And it's part of one of our great gifts to our industry, right? The mirepoix, celery, onions, and carrots. Then once you learn the contents of these ingredients and you add the heat source, your skills to it, you can elevate each and every ingredient to higher level, especially when you pair them with each other. You can create a symphony. Yes, I said symphony, because this is art. It's like music playing. So you have to remember, as important as the ingredients are, so are the techniques. So here are just a few. You have sauteing, which, by the way, is one of my favorites. Yes. Braising, steaming, frying, poaching, roasting, grilling. And we'll leave this for a second one because this is not a cooking technique. However, it's important. So with each of these, this area here, you have the moist cooking, dry cooking. All right. These are things you need to know, but not just know them. Understand exactly what they are, how they affect the food, and how to use them. So over here, This is me, right? I go into a zone. I tap in. So should you. And here, you may think I'm just drizzling this, but in my mind, I'm thinking ahead because that's what we chefs do. We think ahead, whether it's looking over a prep list or going out and seeking ingredients, even before we know we're going to use them, we discover because we're more than just someone that cooks. And now let's talk about those knife skills. Oh, yes, I know. Tedious, aren't they? But they showcase your level of professionalism. And I'm sure many of the instructors out there are always encouraging you to practice, practice, practice. Well, one of my mentors, world certified master chef Raymond Pitts, he's the owner of Le Coco Vin in Orlando, Florida, USA, right? And he does so many different things in the industry, not just here in the US, but overseas. He said to me, took me under his wings and said, hone your skills. Hone your skills. So don't take knife skills lightly. Don't take sauteing or braising or whatever technique you're going to do lightly. Don't take selecting even the plate for your masterpiece lightly. All of these things showcase to the world your level. But here's one thing it showcases, your passion, because paying attention to detail is what I learned from being a designer. And I brought it right over into this industry. So nothing goes to waste. And that's another thing that this industry taught me. But growing up as a little girl in Barbados, that's what we live by. Nothing goes to waste. So whether it's the head of the onion or the roots, and you want to discard it, we know, no, you don't discard that. Whether it's the tip of the carrot, the end, or the head, no, we don't discard that. Because in the onion, even though they may seem like something to discard, we know there's still bits of onion in there. And we use that and the carrot for stock. So nothing goes to waste. And I want you to take that philosophy even into life. Nothing goes to waste. Think of what other thing, I should say, you can do with it. Multiple uses. Okay? And then it's the art. One of my favorite things. I'm an artist at heart. I started out painting, doing sculptures and different things like that. I was always an inquisitive kid. And I just grew into an inquisitive woman. So coming over into this industry, what I did was really answer the calling. Several years ago, while living in Nashville, and yes, I've been on a journey because that's what it's all about when you're seeking your purpose. I found mine. And it's not just about cooking food. It's about sharing information with all of you all. I had no idea later on down that I would be doing this. As a matter of fact, I never even imagined that I would be a chef or even a teacher. Life is funny, isn't it? But when I look back, I spoke about the word preparation earlier. Oh, I've been prepped every step of the way, even while I was in the entertainment industry. So here you have, thanks to Escoffier, this beautiful dessert. The first thing we will see is color. And then we might zoom in on the elements, the different elements, the pomegranate seeds, the curve or the slices of strawberry, the mango, even back here, the little dices, see, knife cuts, and the sugar, reaching its highest level of heat and then transcending into squiggly little lines. And once the air hits it, it solidifies. You see how beautiful food is? So you can't just look at food in one way. You cannot. Sugar has so many different dimensions. My goodness, this is a dessert. Desserts are sweet, right? So then there's also balance. I say this has a little touch of Picasso. Mhm. A little dash there, but it still all comes together. It takes you right in to this beautiful, beautiful, decadent cake, right? So the balance must still flow, even in art. In music, it must still flow. The sauce is just sashaying around everything to tie everything together. And then, of course, there's style. Oh, this has so much style to the point where the sugar is just sashaying, like the exclamation point just at the top, or the cherry on top. In this case, strawberries and pomegranate. And then, of course, you can't forget the garnish. You can't just see the garnish as just a piece of herb. Mm-mm. Here we have some mint. The garnish should actually give the viewer or the diner a little hint of what's in the dish. Yes, just a little hint of what they're supposed to expect. So you don't just want to take in this case, this is a dessert, but let's say a savory dish. I've seen dishes where there's a sprig of rosemary just sitting on a dish. That costs money. A sprig of thyme. That costs money, especially when you're doing hundreds of dishes. And then the guest does not eat it. That's another factor of the garnish. It should be edible. So imagine all of those dishes that go out and they have so many sprigs of thyme or rosemary or even parsley and so forth, and they go into the trash. That's money. Let's think of other ways we can watch the bottom line, but also give to the best of our ability for the ingredients. And of course, you know, I'm all about fashion. So that's why it appears here, because to me, this is still fashion. What we do is very fashionable, from our uniforms, yes, to our menus, oh yes, to the marketing that goes out for the restaurants and so forth, right? And then taste. So everything is preparing you for this, to transcend your senses. It's our 5 senses that are activated within the food process. Visually, smell, hear, taste. Oh, they're all there. And one thing that I discovered that I gained from not just the cooking process, because that's a whole nother feeling that I get, where I can pour in different levels of passion. But when the guests taste the food and you see their reaction, it's instant gratification. That is something I did not get right away from when I was doing the clothing. Even when you taste as you go and the flavors are building and you go, okay, something inside you say a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Pull back on that. That's still the artistry of what you do. So I want you to stretch beyond just looking at the ingredients as just regular ingredients. Think even more about the people you're serving. This pandemic has came about and made us all think differently. Yes, they're not just simple ingredients anymore. What else can I do with a strawberry besides slicing it and adding it to a dish? What else can I do with the pomegranate seeds? Oh yeah, multiple uses for food. is where we're headed. And of course, technology is still leading the way, but it's taking it to a higher heights. And then there's the art of service. We can't forget that. Even if you're just simply ordering from home, we must expect great service. We that are in the industry should also expect to give great service. That doesn't stop. Guess what? As your diners come, or even if the food is being delivered to them, they want to be wowed. We can still wow people. We can wow them over technology, such as something like this. Even if you had to transition and move your seating outside, use nature as a part of your aesthetics. The rhythms from the street is music for an experience for that diner. And if it just happens to be something that can be showcased within a case, with the door open, the see-through, let them feel that they're having such an incredible experience that you had to be placed in this manner. We know it's to protect the food and the guests, but again, multiple purposes, not just one way of thinking anymore. So, whether you're pouring the wine, adding some beautiful fresh flowers to the table, and by the way, a great way to entice your senses, that smell, is to take some fresh flowers and some of those herbs and put a sprig or two in there. It's nothing new, but it's something that the guests will smell and feel it's familiar and sit there for the most of the evening. It could be a sprig of thyme that takes them back to their grandmother's cooking. We want the warm and fuzzy. We want people to feel the experience of what it is that we are bringing forth to them. So when the main dish, the dessert or the app comes out, they were already prepped for the wowing factor. Now, let's move on to see what's ahead. So where do we go from here? I know your minds are twinkling and you're itching because, again, this pandemic has done that. It has made us rethink even our industry. And you see me over here. This is representing technology, but this was taken a couple of years ago. I was asked by the first African-American certified master chef for the American Culinary Federation, Daryl Schuler, chef, certified master chef Daryl Schuler, to host this event at Le Cordon Bleu in Atlanta. Well, I was in the entertainment industry, so I thought that was done. Nothing goes to waste. And now we're in a world of technology. So again, I was being prepped. The kitchen is our lab, but it's our lab not just for cooking. It's our lab for honing our skills in every way, whether we're managing or inspiring our staff to keep them going on a busy night, or just sitting, going through inventory. Our minds are always churning and should always be thinking of the next thing. How can we go from here? So online technology. Yes, we're on that right now. I teach, like I said, excuse me, I'm so excited. I'm a culinary instructor at Auguste Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Yes, they have 2 locations. One is in Boulder, Colorado, and the other is in Austin, Texas. Like I said, the lab. However, they also offer online, culinary arts online. Well, let me just share something with you. A few weeks ago, we were in Chicago for a faculty summit. And the CEO, Jack Larson, he's such a visionary. He said he realized he didn't have to pretty much, I'm not quoting him verbatim, convince people that culinary arts can be done online. He didn't have to do that because he discovered he was a tech company. I said, whoa, that's incredible. Food and technology. We have to go beyond just the regular thinking that we were doing. We have to go beyond. Escoffier's School of Culinary Arts empowers students to achieve their potential in the culinary and pastry arts through affordable, accessible, and social-minded quality instruction. I know I am one of the instructors, and this is done with techniques developed by the king of chefs, Auguste Escoffier. If you haven't heard of him, look him up. In his time, he too was an innovator. The curriculum blends classic culinary methods with a sound business foundation to help prepare students for a variety of roles. The learning is further enhanced with a focus on understanding and implementing sustainable practices in our industry. Oh, yes. And then we'll go on to retail. You say retail? Yes, the sale of food, whether it's in supermarkets. And did you know, if you notice, during COVID, one of the places that was in high demand was the supermarket. So even as chefs, we can go into the supermarket industry. It's still food on the platform of retail. And not just there, we can do retail online of our products. And then this one really popped up during COVID, food delivery. You can't look at food delivery anymore the same way. Now, I remember over 25 years ago, I'm telling my age, when I lived in Virginia Beach, Virginia, McDonald's came out with a food delivery service. They introduced it, and it didn't take off. And one of the reasons why is because when the food was delivered, it wasn't hot. People love riding up to the windows. But now we have places like companies like DoorDash and so forth that can deliver the food. And they're teaming up with restaurants. They have teamed up with chefs that created ghost kitchens. Oh, yeah, because the pandemic made us look at things differently. But like chefs or people from this industry, when our backs are pushed up against the wall, oh, we come out not just swinging. We take our spatulas and we take it up to the next level because we are innovators. We persevere. And then also another area is product development. Like I said, take one product and see what other things you can do with it. Oh, yeah. There's so many things. Think out of the box. And food science, yes, food science has been around, but take it up to another level now. So you can go from learning this, working in kitchens, and then going beyond. 2 years ago, I was in Chicago. And Chicago was where Oprah Winfrey her show was taped. Well, at that time, she had left 10 years earlier. But I still wanted to go and see where Harper's studios were. And when I walked up Unbeknownst to me, the location is now McDonald's University. Yes, the same McDonald's I spoke about. But let me tell you something. Yes, they have a university for training, not just the cooking, but also taking those incredible pictures that entice us to come in and try those French fries. Let me tell you something else about it. They also purchased a great piece of real estate. Yes. Did you not know that real estate is connected to our industry? Have you ever heard of Ray Kroc? I ask you to please look him up. There's also a movie about it on Netflix. Well, Ray Kroc wasn't necessarily the founder of McDonald's, but the founders were the McDonald's brothers. Ray Kroc came along and took the idea beyond. He didn't just see food. So I learned about him when I was in school and I had to do a paper. And he was visiting Harvard University some time back. Once the lecture was done, he went into the coffee shop and there were some students within the coffee shop just gathered around. And he walked over to them and asked them, and I'm going to ask you this too, maybe you can answer it during our Q&A. What line of business is McDonald's in? Think about that. Food is the vehicle, but what line of business are they in? I'll leave you with that until Q&A. And then there's agriculture. Oh, agriculture and horticulture. Yes. Ladies, don't be afraid to be farmers. Oh, that's my next venture. Food will always be here. We will always need food. And we know how to put our spin on it, right? That's why it's important to learn these ingredients. And then, like I said before, there are multiple uses for these ingredients. Find out what they are and elevate them. And then food crossing over into other industries. Do you know that there's food that's used in cosmetics? I was watching a YouTube documentary a couple of weeks ago. It was based in Ghana, and this farmer, 1,500 acres, and all he was growing was cassava. Here in the States, we also call it yucca. Well, cassava is not just used for one thing. Did you know cassava can be used for ethanol, for starch? Yes, I learned that as a little girl in Barbados. I watched my grandmother and my aunt grate the cassava, mix it with water, and let it settle so that the substance of the cassava will float to the bottom. And the liquid remained on the top. So then they poured the liquid off and added heat. Do you know that it becomes gelatinous and turns into starch? This is the same starch she used to press her husband's shirts. Yes, starch from cassava. Flour. You can also use it to make liquor and some medicines. So what do I mean when I say multiple uses and crossing over? So from the kitchen and beyond is what we should be looking into. All right. So this is the school that I have an opportunity to also work for. All right. It's all about engaging students, and there's that technology. So Escoffier was named #1 school or culinary school in the world by Chef's Pencil and ranked a top 10 culinary school in America by USA Today. And if you would like more information, you can visit them, escoffier.edu, for more, right? So I want you all to just take everything that you're hearing from myself and Chef Joe and work it into your daily lives. All right? And then and there I am. No, I don't have a twin. Food is my vehicle. So, as the CEO, chef, designer, and speaker, now international speaker, I still get to be that inquisitive little girl to explore not just paints or fabrication, but foods and their tastes and what can happen to these elements or these foods or ingredients when I apply heat or even something cold. I still get to play and paint my plates, which are my canvases. By the way, I designed this chef coat. Yeah, there's so much you can do. So a dash of cocoa, yes, it's after my nickname, but that's what I do. Just add a little dash, just to inspire everyone that I meet, even if you don't taste my food or wear my clothing. All right. So my website is a-of-cocoa.com. I'm also introducing a line of t-shirts. There's fashion too. Right. And then here is Chef Kareen. That's what they call me at Escoffier. Right. The students, Chef Kareen, culinary instructor. Like I said, how did I get here? I never dreamt of being a teacher, but food has found me. And it's the most beautiful gift that we all have. So I discovered I need to connect and I need to share information. Let me tell you a little bit more about Escoffier. Escoffier attracts a diverse student population across the country with graduates working around the globe. Yes, I had a student in Japan, one in Alaska, another in Hawaii. Food is our vehicle. Technology can transcend us. And even on ground, we can still tie all of them together. So, I'm going to stop sharing now. So bringing all of that together, I know it was a mouthful, but this is my passion. Food discovered me. And Chef Joe, you're in Dubai. My prayers is to come to Dubai. I got some news the other day, so I'll tell you about that off screen one day. But this is what we do. This is what we do. I am supposed to inspire and encourage, whether it's with food, fashion, it's through Escoffier with technology, being online or on ground. I thank you all so much, so much for having me and being a part of this incredible platform. Keep doing this. Keep doing this. Even a pandemic cannot stop us. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gary. Like your passion for food really shines out. And I think you really drove home the message of why it's called culinary arts. And I mean, when you were talking, all I could think of were the parallels between fashion and food. And so much of what you said, it reminded me of sustainable fashion, of not wasting anything, and how the different art is really just different vehicles and mediums, but the motive is really the same, irrespective of which form you practice in. And
yes.
Really, thank you so much for opening our eyes. And we have quite a few questions from the viewers. I would urge Wade forward them for you. Quite a few people are interested in knowing more about Escoffier, the school, and how to get into it, and also the fee structure.
Okay, so you can visit Escoffier And we'll put it up. Let's see, I'll go back and let me just put it up one more time. Make sure I'm sharing. Just in case you didn't get it before. Let's present. So it's Escoffier. Let's go back one. Escoffier.edu. That's the website. Escoffier, ESCOFFIER.edu. And in regards to more information, you can contact our admissions department and they will gladly give you the information. More so than I can, right? So things have changed. It's now coming to you. And believe me, we put the skills in there too. We expect you to bring those skills, right? And our training allows us. I think for me, I didn't realize how detailed I was. So when we view the food, yes, some may say, but you can't taste it. We have the students write out what they're tasting. There's a paper they have to write. This helps them to develop their palates. It hones in as opposed to you just hearing us tell you what the food tastes like. You tell us, and then we can communicate on that to a further level. I'm a stickler for sanitation. So I look around. Oh, yes. Even if you're at home. Mm-hmm. All right. So any more questions?
We do. We have quite a few actually.
Okay.
Okay. There's another one. Do you think it's ethical for companies like McDonald's to operate the way they do, hinting at the beef industry and its effects on the environment?
Well, I would say this. Companies, I can't say they can't and they shouldn't, but companies are in business, right? And this is why I was saying it's up to us now, especially you that's coming into the industry. You all are coming in with great information that can be added to this industry so that we're not just targeting one specific area, whether it's beef. Let's find other things because now people are looking for more healthier food, healthier ways to eat, right? And there's still a huge segment of the population that likes that, right? So the business owner caters to who they're targeting. And that's the one thing you want to think about. Who is your target market? Right? Because there are things, laws and so forth put in place, but we're also a huge world. So we can't necessarily control what people eat. You know what I mean? We can be respectful of it. And that's what I mean about respecting the food. So that's why I even encourage you to touch the earth. Go play with the soil. Chef has a lot of foliage behind him. It may not be herbs, but go out and touch and smell so that you now can bring a more in-depth insight into food overall and other options. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Okay, there is another one. How can we as individuals start healthy practices to reduce waste, like you spoke about with the example of the onion?
Well, first of all, when there's waste, that means someone has another job to do, right? If they're going to do the sanitation of it. So we talked about crossing. The one thing we want to do is be respectful of ourselves and each other so that we're not just wasting food. You don't just want to toss it out. Now, if it is going into the trash, and let's say it's food related, composting. You can find someone in your area that, even if it's a farmer, that you can do the composting with. So you're not wasting the food. It breaks down and then it can go right back into the products that we need. This is why I say we need to find solutions. And we hold the solutions. We don't necessarily need another pandemic or something to come and push us against the wall. Let's figure this out. Let's work together, whether you're way across the world or not. We can see that no matter what time it is, we can communicate. And great minds, when we come together, oh, we can do some incredible things. Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we move on, we have one last question. That is, what are the opportunities for Indian chefs abroad, and what is your take on Indian cuisine?
I love Indian cuisine. Remember, I'm from the Caribbean, right? I love it. I love it. Your first question, opportunities abroad. I can't speak for every country, right? I'm here in the US, but we love Indian food over here. We really do, right? So the other thing I would say is take your level, your food. Think about where you want to go with it, where you want to take it, because everything is open now, even Africa, right? And people love food. I say, if you want to learn about a culture, sit at the table and let's share, let's break bread together. It's a great way to teach people about your culture. The opportunities are here. But what about an opportunity that you may want to bring forth? Mm-hmm. How about thinking about that? Right? Because we have Indian restaurants here, so I know there's opportunities, not just here in Florida. I grew up in New York. Oh yeah, there's a whole nother area there for Indian food. You can literally smell it in the air. So think beyond what's right in front of you and think about where you want to take this insight that you have. I hope that answers.
Your time. Now we would like to move on to JavaGarcia, who started his culinary journey as a stalwart figure in every place he has worked on. To name some, as the chef of a Michelin star restaurant in Lisbon, the executive chef of La Cantine in UAE, and now the group head chef in Miras Holding. In charge of the growth of QSR concepts, casual and premium restaurants, developing menus, implementation of standards, hire of chefs, procurements, contracts, and relationship with the stakeholders. So we are truly blessed to be learning from you. And now I would like to pass on the mic.
Awesome.
Thank you so much to be part of the web seminar. And Karin, thank you so much for your words. It was amazing your representation, and it's always amazing to hear someone so passionate about food like you. I was really, really focused in each single word you were saying. And to be honest, if I was a student now, I will apply straight away in the website to be your student. But thank you so much one more time to be part of the seminar. Just let me tell you, I'm not anymore working for Miras. Now I'm the group head chef for the group Gates Hospitality. I'm in charge of around 12 outlets, doing the same job you described me. But I will start my presentation because I can introduce you better about myself. Let me just facing a little bit of, because I need to open. My computer was denying the presentation. I don't know why. Okay, I think now I will be able to share. Let me know if you can.
You can You are presenting.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start the presentation. Okay. Let me put this for the presentation. Sometimes my knowledge on the computers
I
are
think
a
it's
little bit
there. The bottom row, I think it's there.
on the bottom.
There is one to increase the zoom. Yeah,
I see.
that one, I think
This
this
one.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is myself. As I said, I'm the group head chef for Gates Hospitality. I've been working in the culinary field for over 15 years. I already been working in Portugal. I studied in US. I studied in France. In UAE, I'm already for 8 years already, starting from hotels, restaurants, everything, catering. I did a little bit of everything until now. Uh, my presentation is focused on the mentalities of the new generation in the kitchen and how it's affecting the market. Because can be a little bit, how I can say, uh, can be a little bit crazy when I'm speaking about this subject because I'm a little bit part of this new generation. It's meaning I'm half. But the new generation, when they finish the culinary school, all of them, they come with the mentality, I finished the culinary school, I have enough knowledge to run a hotel, to run a restaurant, to be a executive chef, to be a head chef, and so on and so on. And it's sad story, but for the moment, we see a lot of owners of restaurants and hotels employing the students as sous chefs, as head chefs. And the problem is not the moment. The moment, yeah, maybe they will be able to deliver what they want. The problem is in the future because the knowledge of the students, as we know, is limited because they've been studying for 2-3 years in culinary school. They have the basic knowledge, but they are not able, in case of problems, to solve them. And this is where the problem starts because if I'm a chef, I need to start from the bottom. I need to learn. I need to receive shit from everybody. I need to do mistakes. I need to fix them, and only like that I'm able to reach the higher levels. If I leave the school and I go straight away as a head chef, I don't have the knowledge of how to do it. I don't have the knowledge how to solve problems. I don't have the knowledge how to make the things perfect, and I don't have the knowledge how to teach the other ones. Okay, and when we speak about organization charts, doesn't matter if it's a big or a small kitchen. In this case, I put here the organization chart for the big organizations, hotels, or big groups. All of these positions, from the trainee to the executive chef, as you can see, is a lot of different positions. Each single position is very important inside of the kitchen. Start from a trainee. Trainee is not the one we just receive for a couple of months, and we just put them to do all the jobs we don't want to do, or okay, is one more guy here, I just going to relax and that's it. No, the training is someone is with us for us to teach them. Is someone they're gonna teach us something. It's crazy to say they don't teach us nothing. No, they teach us. I learn even now. I learn with my committees. I learn with my stewards because every single day we have something different. You know, they can teach us something different, and this is the most important. After moving to the committee for me is one of the most important positions inside of the kitchen because they are doing the meticulous job. They are doing what we're going to use after to finalize the plates. And if the mistake starts from the bottom, when we reach to the top, the finishing of a plate will be disaster. You know, and for me, each single position needs to be by step. You cannot jump positions. You need to have the proper knowledge of a committee, after to go for Comi 1, and so on, until you reach a sous chef position. When you reach a sous chef position, is the most, it's not sad position, but let's say it's the most ungrateful position. Why? Because it's the one listening all the complaints from the bottom, and is the one is receiving all the complaints from the executive chef of the head chef, and he needs to manage how to make both parties happy. And the sous chef is the one he starts to be ready to take the next level, and is the one with the full capacity to take decisions, last minute decisions, how to organize the things at the last minute. It's very important, all of that inside of the kitchen. Now, as Karine was saying about Escoffier, Escoffier was the one came to change our mentalities about kitchens. Escoffier was the one bringing not what we see now, but what we saw until 15 years ago, where you had all the positions for every single part of the kitchen. And Escoffier, he delegate the jobs as a proper classes, let's say. He was having the sauciers, he was having the butcheries, he was having the grillers, he was having the ones who was doing the sides, and so on, so on. Nowadays, because the sad reality of our world, a lot of hotels, restaurants, they start to cut in a brigades. And now, instead to have people to work in the positions before they were required, the positions before they were important to develop a great work, now instead of a team of 20, they are hiring only 7. Because what they did, they are doing shortcuts. And that shortcuts, at the same time, they are cutting positions, and they are cutting standards, and they are cutting the delivery of a good service and a good meal. And for me, looking back and looking to the new reality, I cannot say UAE. UAE still with the old mentality of what is a kitchen brigade. We still have a lot of chefs working to deliver good quality of products. I believe UAE is maybe one of the only countries in the world still guiding themselves as old Escoffier brigades. How we can see how it's affecting our reality. More shortcuts, it's meaning instead, for example, to do a sauce where it takes 1 hour or 2 hours, what they do, they put fire in the maximum to reduce the things. And after, instead to have the nice flavor of a sauce, what's going to happen, because it's boiling, and it's burning all around it, the sauce will reduce. But when the sauce reduces, having a burnt flavor. And nowadays we see this one in a lot of places using shortcuts. Another one is taking the technique and the knowledge of our staff is the pre-ready cuts or the food pre-prepared. For example, a lot of places, because kitchens are small or because they don't want to spend that much money, what they do, they approach big organizations. They say, okay, I don't have time and money to have, I don't know, maybe a strip loin 300 grams cut. Can you do it for me? And of course they do it, or a julienne or a brunoise, or all the cuts we are used to do. All these companies, they are delivering already all these products already cut. What's going to happen? The chefs, the new generation of chefs, they will not even know the name of the cut. They will not know how to do it. They will not know what to do with the trimmings of the products. And in the end of the day, instead of to have chefs with the culture, instead to have chefs ready to run big organizations, Michelin star organizations, and so on, we have chefs end up working in the medium restaurants because they don't know what to do. If they are going for a Michelin star restaurant, they are lost and they need to quit because they don't know. Okay, and this is a big problem of the knowledge of the new generation nowadays. They want to reach the top fast because they want to make money, because they want to do what the executive chefs are doing, and they are jumping. They are jumping, but the knowledge is not jumping. the knowledge is still the same. The knowledge is still the same, and they will not be able to deliver good results. And after then, one of the big problems in this hospitality industry are the managers. The managers, they are more worried about their own image than the image of the restaurant, than the image of the food and the service delivered to the final customer. They want to see themselves in the nice pictures on the magazines, on the newspapers, social media. They want to use the best suit, the best jacket, and in the end, the service and the standards are affected because the restaurant or a hotel is not about themselves, it's about the team. The team needs to run all from one side, and this is the problem. The standards of the deliveries will decrease in a big time because after nobody will care about how a dish is going out. For example, one of the best examples is the filet mignon, the Wellington. The Wellington needs to be prepared in a certain way to be delivered juicy, to have the puff pastry, crispy. And nowadays, they just do. They don't even know the ingredients. They just see nice pictures on Instagram. They try to mix ingredients, and that's it. They don't know the steps, the proper steps. The food quality will drop because what they are worried about the food cost. And for them, the food cost is buying cheap food. And to buy cheap food doesn't mean the food costs are reducing. Yes, on the reality, the food cost will reduce because you are buying cheap products. But from another side, you reduce the quality. The clients will understand, will affect, and they will not come back. They will come one time, they will pay, I don't know, $20, $30, but the next time they will not come back again. And because of that, your food cost factor goes up. This is like a normal math, 1 plus 1. If you have good products, you're going to have clients. And if you're going to have clients, your food cost will go. You have cheap products, you don't have clients, your food cost is going to go up. And this is what the people still don't think is true. They still thinking, no, I buy cheap products and I will have always clients because I'm the best, because I know how to do everything. Well, and in a part, the problem is in the schools. Karim, don't take me wrong, it's not about you. I'm speaking about in general. And believe me, in Portugal, from where I am, I saw a lot of times this happening. The teachers, they don't have any more methods of cooking. They don't have any more methods of work. They don't have the professionalism. They are not anymore meticulous to the delivering of the food of the products. And they are there because the working hours is reduced comparing of a hotel or a restaurant. They are there because the salaries are okay. But after, who's going to be affected is our industry. Our industry will suffer now, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, and continuing so on, if nobody decides to change. The students, when they are in the school, they have as well the wrong perspective of what is a kitchen. Because for them, when they are in the school, they teach them a kitchen is having this many hours of working, is a big brigade, everything is amazing. In the reality, me, Karen, and thousands, billions of other chefs, we know it's not. Our industry is hard. Our industry is not fair with us. Our industry is beautiful because we can see the smiles on the face of the customers, and this is what makes us happy. But it's not easy. It's not an easy industry. It's an industry require passion. It's an industry require time. It's an industry. Sometimes our family stays on the second position. But yeah, if it's what we choose, is what we need to handle. The working hours are 8, 10, 12. Even myself, I already did more than 24 hours working because we was having a service to be delivered. I remember a few years back when we won the Michelin star, we was having in Lisbon the Chalet Chateau coming over, and was Chalet Chateau plus the consecration of my chef at that time, and was 200 people for.
I think he muted himself.
Yeah, he did. Joe, you muted yourself. I don't think he can hear us. Wait. I'll ask someone to text him.
We're trying to figure this out, but Joe is not responding to.
He can't hear us, can he? Joe?
Sorry, guys, I had a problem with my microphones. They just went down. I don't know why. But continue what I was saying.
Joe, could you actually go back?
We need to keep the wrong rules, the strong rules. We cannot take shortcuts. We cannot keep thinking we will reach the target. Just avoiding the tough jobs and sometimes boring jobs like peeling carrots or trimming meats or trimming fishes. Yeah, we need to do it. If the student doesn't like it, okay, my friend, or you change or you go. And it needs to be like full times, like this. I remember in my school, if someone was not happy with what the professor was doing, okay, my friend, you can go. This is the rule inside of this culinary school. And that's it. I remember in US, I was studying in Culinary Institute of America. Our teacher, he been very clear with the executive chef from the army, and he said, I understand you are the executive chef for the army. I understand you are already almost 50. But if you don't do the way I want, I don't want you to have you here. You can go. You can continue your job. I'm here to teach you, and I'm here to teach the best way I can. Well, and to be honest, he did well. From where to start? We need to listen. We need to listen when we start the culinary journey. We need to listen our superiors. We need to listen our chefs. We need to listen our chef de party. We need to keep quiet. Keep quiet is not if they are treating us bad. We're gonna listen and we're gonna respect. No, we keep quiet. Listen carefully what he's saying to us and put in practice. Respect is the most important inside of one kitchen. We need to respect everybody. Doesn't matter if he's a steward, if he's your chef, everybody needs to be treated as a person. We cannot treat the other ones as a minor or as a lower position, Everybody needs to have respect. In my kitchens, I don't allow nobody to disrespect nobody. Doesn't matter if he's a steward or my sous chef. For me, all of them, they have the same value. We need to do a lot of mistakes, but when I say mistakes is healthy ones, what I mean with the healthy ones is our mistakes cannot warm the business. Our mistakes is, for example, I want to take a fillet of a fish, of a big fish. The first time, maybe I will take a piece of the meat from the flesh of the fish, but next time I will do it better. This is a healthy one. This is the healthy mistakes gonna make us grow. And we need to fix them. To fix them, if we need help from someone, we need to call, we need to ask, listen, I want to do this, but I already did a mistake. Can you please teach me how to do it? We need to listen and we need to look careful to don't do it again. This is the most important thing in one kitchen. We need to listen. We need to create open communication from the top to the bottom. The kitchen, yes, during the service time needs to be on silence to listen the orders of the chef, but the communication is a key point inside of one kitchen. If you know communication, everything goes wrong. This is the presentation from my side. I really believe if the kitchens go back to the old times, everything will be better. The Michelin star restaurants, they are keeping winning stars. Why? It's not because they take shortcuts. It's not because they are lazy. It's because they are keeping strong rules. It's because they are keeping the key people there to teach the other ones, and the other ones, they have the chance to grow inside of the organization. And this is the most important. And until we, when I say we, all the management side still with the idea, okay, this one is a cheap labor, let me take on board, I will teach him in the wheel delivery, we will never go there. We need to be strong. We cannot think this is a cheap labor, we will take it, and later on, let's see what's going to be. No, cannot be. We need to get the correct people on the correct positions. If it's a cheap labor, we need to understand why it's cheap. Maybe we have a different position for him. That position, maybe after a few months, after a few years, he will grow with us, but we need to understand that cheap labor will not replace a chef de partie, for example. A good chef de partie is not a number, is not an amount, is the knowledge. And the knowledge is not cheap. Sorry for the expression, is you pay 2 monkeys, you have a bad service, But this is the point. If you pay, you have Michelin star restaurants. If you don't pay, you have restaurants after 6 months, 1 year, they're gonna close. Okay, I'm gonna give an example. Everybody knows, and it's easier. We had the kitchen nightmare from Gordon Ramsay, and we were seeing what was happening around the world. The people they were hiring, cheap people to operate the restaurants. What's gonna happen? In a few months' time, the restaurant was closing, or the business from here was dropping to the almost zeros. Why I still believe and why my organizations they still doing well, thanks God. I cannot complain because I fight to have the correct people in the business. I fight to have them every single day going for trainings, learning from other chefs inside of other organizations, doing cross trainings between organizations, and sometimes a few chefs are like, I'm the best one, and I don't care about the other ones. All the other ones are wrong. All the other ones, they do mistakes. No, myself, with the position I have now, I go inside of my kitchens and I work. I'm going to open now 6 new restaurants. One of them is an Indian restaurant. I don't know how to do naan breads, for example. I already told them I want to go 1 week inside of the kitchen to make naan bread, because in the end of the day, I'm a chef. I want to learn. I want to develop a good service. And I believe if everybody starts to change the mentality and if everybody starts to go for this line, all of us as a whole industry, we will change. And after we're going to start to complain, we are working a lot of hours. Maybe after we're going to reduce the amount of hours we are working because our delivery is higher than before. And maybe because we do a long hours is because we don't have the correct people in the operation. That is the thing. Guys, thank you so much for this presentation. Sorry for my headphones to lose the battery.
No,
I don't know why.
we could connect the dots once you started speaking again. Like, we did use you for like 2 minutes. Thank you so much for illustrating. I completely agree with you. If we have sort of become these capitalist workers now, with focusing more on the end product than the entire process of cooking and preparing. And thank you so much for reminding us once again about what's important.
Thank you so much as well. It was a pleasure.
We have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Hold on. By your personal experience, how do you think the system of education can be changed to help the upcoming chefs to be better?
Well, as per my experience, that is a good question, by the way. It's a good question. My experience on that takes time. Takes time. Is something is not gonna happen today for tomorrow. Takes time. Takes a lot of effort. And the most important is willing to learn. You know, this is the most important. If you are willing to learn, the things will change fast. If you are not willing to learn, the thing's gonna take ages, gonna take months, years, you know. Everything is about how open you are, you know. And as I mentioned before, not everybody is open to learn. Not everybody is humble enough to say, I'm here in this position, but I want to learn with the other ones. Not everybody. And again, it's a question of mentalities and the question how you are open to change. This is the time. The time frame can be like this or can be like this. Depend of you.
A student, Aman Puya, he has a question for both of you. So he asked, what is the biggest pro and biggest con of being in this industry that you have experienced?
I will let Karin to reply first. First the ladies.
Thank you, Chef. So he said, what is the biggest flaw? Was that it? Can you repeat the question? Can you hear me?
What is the biggest pro and con of being in this industry that you have experienced?
The biggest flaw, honestly, my journey, I would say I was that person that wanted to learn. I wanted to learn. I was always that inquisitive little kid. I started in the industry at Windows on the World restaurant that was on top of the former World Trade Center. And that's where I was introduced to high-end dining, the food. The executive chef at the time was Chef Herman Renier, who had trained at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. And then it's funny because years later, I went to Le Cordon Bleu. But going into the kitchen at the time, I was about 18. I was the hostess. So being able to go back there and watch them, they would let me come and they would teach me. So for me, I don't see a flaw. I saw learning opportunities. That's allow yourself, like Chef said, to learn. Chef spoke about filleting the fish, and the first time, maybe, you took off a little bit too much meat. See, me, yes, the next time I want to get it better, but at that point right there, what can I do with this little extra piece of meat? I'm going to make it a boosh, something so I can show the chef, which is one bite. So I'm not wasting it. Always try to learn and hone your skills. And just enjoy the journey, because there will be ups and downs, but it's part of the journey. It's a learning process. I hope that answers your question.
Because now, what would your pro and con of being in this industry would be?
Well, for me, like everybody, we had ups and downs. The most important for me is to see the client leave happy the restaurant. This is the positive side of all the story. The negative side, we will have always, like I had, clients complaining just because they are bored of their own life, and they will complain the food is not good, the service is not good. This is out of our hands. The same of employers to be unfair with us. They want more, they expect more. You do everything what you have and you almost what you don't have. And at the end of the day, they just say, okay, today is our last day, you can go. But in the end of the day, we need to learn with the experience. We need to grow, and we need to think next day will be better than today. All of us, we already had bad service. All of us, we already fail in our careers, but not because of that. We fail. We learn, we stand up, and we continue again. Because of that, we need to learn. Culinary experience is not about long periods. A lot of things are done on the daily basis, and this is one of the things are done on the daily basis. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can be frustrated, you can think you are the best of the world, but again, everything is on the daily basis, and you need to give all your best. If it's out of your hands, you cannot do nothing. It's frustrating, but you cannot do nothing. I hope I could give a proper answer, but I think it's the best.
We have another question addressed to both of you. Do you have any advices that you would like to give the students that are watching this to end the seminar with motivating words and insightful wisdom?
I couldn't hear.
I'll let you go this time, Chef.
The problem, I couldn't hear now.
Do you have any advices you would like to give the students?
Advices I want to give, yes. Open mind, hard work, don't do shortcuts, and try to learn with the old generation, because they will be the ones teaching you proper way. Be silent and be focused. This is my advices.
I second that. Technique never changes. Learn the techniques. They do not change. Ingredients will change based on where you are in the world. But once you learn the techniques properly, like he said, there's no shortcuts. And by the way, we mentioned about the different positions. People want to move up really fast. One of the positions in the on the brigade, well, way down in the brigade, that no one really wants to do is dishwashing. I tell you what, I'm offered a dishwashing position. Those are going to be the best dishes and sink that you have ever seen, because usually you're being tested right there. All right. And from there, you can learn so much more about the whole flow of the restaurant. So learn, continue to learn, never stop learning, never. Hone your skills. And many of you are looking to go out into the industry, right? But when the door is open for you, be ready to perform your skills at the best level that you can, because you've been practicing. Practice, practice, practice. Repetition. That's what our industry offers. So practice, no shortcuts. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for both of your time. I really do have a newfound admiration for the chefs, and I will be watching how food is cooked with the love and passion that you do, both of you. And thank you so much for acquainting us with that. And I would like to end the meet now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you from USA.
Thank you from UAE.
Thank you from India.
Thank you, guys.